Welcome back to the shop. Took advantage of the Black Friday deals and we got us a Harbor Freight Predator 9500 watt inverter generator. Let's take a look at what comes in the box. Not only do you get a fully assembled generator as we see here, we also find that we get a small little toolkit, and this comes with a little screwdriver and a spark plug wrench. We got the 12-volt cord here where we can charge 12-volt batteries or run 12-volt accessories off the generator. It comes with two of the 20 amp 120 volt plugs that we can make our own extension cords for the heavy duty 20 amp side of the generator. And we also get two of the 30 amp twist lock plugs. You know, one is the 30 amp 120 side and the other one is the L1430 plug right here that runs 30 amps off the 240 side. And we also get a little funnel here that we can use to add oil to the machine since it does not come with oil. So there are a few things that we need to do before we put our generator into service, and what I'm going to do is remove the side cover here using an 8mm socket to access the battery here, because the battery is not connected. So what we're going to do is just start by hooking up the positive side of the battery, and then we'll move over to the negative side of the battery and get that hooked up so that we don't cause any shorts there. One thing I did want to look at while I've got this cover off is this air filter housing. It's in a bad spot. It's very difficult to service the air filter in that spot. But once we get done on that side, we can go ahead and put this panel back on and we'll move over to the other side. Now on this side, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put oil into the engine. And we got this lower cover right here that I'm taking off, in which we could actually put oil in at this point. But I want to take this whole side cover off, just two more 8mm screws, so we'll have a better view of the inside of the engine and what it's going to take to get to that oil dipstick tube and actually put oil into it. And here's where we find that little dipstick tube. We'll go ahead and get that removed. And then what I'm going to do is this funnel came with a really long spout on it. It's just a little longer than what I like. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off a little bit of it so it just fits a little better for me. Go ahead and get that put into the engine block there. And this engine's going to hold just over a quart of oil. 1 quart will get you to the top. It took just a little bit more to get it filled on up. So now that we've got the oil put in, I'm going to put the dipstick in and go ahead and check the oil level. Make sure it looks good, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting this machine back together. We'll get this side cover put back on real quick, and then we're going to just put on the lower cover here to cover the dipstick access point. And now that we've got all the oil put in, the battery hooked up, it's time to put a little gas in it. So I'm going to put in some non-ethanol gasoline into this, about 2 gallons. That's all it's going to take just to get this thing started up so we can go ahead and start testing the output on this generator. So there's a couple things we want to do before we start this. We want to turn the electronic speed control off. That makes sure that we go into high idle. We're going to go ahead and put our selector switch to the start position, and we're going to make sure the main breaker is turned off. Personal preference for me. Then we're going to go ahead and press the start button. Wow, that started up super easy. I mean, it didn't barely turn over. And that's the very first time that this generator has run. It's brand new right out of the box. So I went ahead and turned on the ESC here, and we can hear how the noise level actually went down. The RPMs came down quite a bit. And we'll go ahead and turn on the main breaker. You know, I was super excited to get this Harbor Freight Predator 9500 watt inverter generator to run the welders in my barn. The primary reason I bought this welder was to run the welders in my barn and to use it for backup power for the house in case of an emergency, of course. But there are some things to consider. Number one, this is a lot of generator for $2,500. And the reason I say $2,500 is because by the time you pay the regular price and tax and everything out the door, you're probably right around $2,500. There are other generators that are comparable to this, kind of rated a little bit lower, but almost identical. You know, we got the Duramax and the AI Power that look like they're the same frame and everything, just different colors. However, those two generators have a dual fuel capability where they can run off propane. The Predator generator does not. For me, that's not a big deal. I don't plan on using propane to run my generators. I never have, and I don't really see it, for me, you know, a big deal. Yes, propane lasts a lot longer than gasoline if stored correctly. I run non-ethanol fuel, of course, in here, so I don't usually have a problem with my small equipment when I run non-ethanol fuel You know, and the propane generators, it's just got more mechanical stuff that can go wrong. A little harder to work on if you use it in cold weather, if you were to lose power in the wintertime. Sometimes the regulators, you know, freeze up in the wintertime, but that's just things to consider with a dual fuel generator. Another thing to consider is that this thing is 270 pounds and it has almost a 7-gallon, about 6.5-gallon capacity fuel tank. Gasoline weighs 6 pounds per gallon, so let's just say 6 gallons, another 36 pounds. So we're over 300 pounds with this generator. It's low to the ground and it's awkward to lift up. Yeah, 2 big guys can lift this up and put it in the back of the truck, but if you're looking at this generator to take with you in the back of your camper or your RV or, you know, for the weekend warrior, I don't think it's going to be the best option because it's just so heavy. Unless you have a toy hauler where you can roll it up in the ramp into the back, or you have some type of ramps or lift gate or something on your truck. I mean, you'd almost have to have a lift gate. Or if you were to permanently mount it to your camper, if you have a hitch capable of carrying that. A lot of people use this for their food trucks where it is permanently mounted on the food trucks and it seems to run their whole trucks with no issues. Another concern people have is they wanted to use it for their camper and they're kind of upset that it doesn't have a 50 amp receptacle. Well, the generator is not rated at 50 amps. However, it does have an L1430. That's the type of plug for the 240 side. And there's plenty of adapters. I'll leave a couple links in the description below if you want to run your RV off of this. I'll leave a link for both the 50 amp and the 30 amp connector. And they're really cheap, you know, they're like less than $20, $20, $25 or whatever for that adapter. And then you can run, you know, your RV off of this generator. Another concern is parts availability. Now in the manual of the generator, it does show a full parts breakdown for every part on it. However, when we go to the parts availability on harborfreight.com, as you can see here, there's only like 14 items available. And one of those items is the high altitude jet kit, which is a good idea, of course, if you're operating at high altitude. But really only 13 parts looks like is available online, and it does have the prices for them, but that leaves a lot to be desired as far as I'm concerned when it comes to trying to find parts. And I've also heard a lot of people saying that it takes 2 or 3 generators to get a good one. And I thought maybe they were just, maybe they were doing something wrong, you know, maybe it was, I didn't think it would happen to me. This has 0.3 hours on it, brand new generator. And, you know, the engine starts, runs great. The 120 outlets work great. The 240 outlet worked great. But I do not have any 12-volt supply, or the USB outlets don't work. I've tried every combination on that front panel. I've had the main breaker on, main breaker off. The ESC, electronic speed controller, I've had it on, had it off. In the manual it says leave it on. I've checked all the breakers. I even took the front panel off, checked all the wiring. There's nothing unplugged. I don't understand why I can't get 12 volts out of the 12-volt outlet to, you know, charge a battery or even use my USB plugs. Is that a huge deal? Well, not really, because I don't use 12 volts on my generators. I very rarely would use that. However, when you buy a brand new generator, you would expect that to work. So I am going to take this back, which is frustrating, you know, because it's, again, 300 pounds. I've already, you know, taken it out of the box and the crate and just getting rid of the box itself. You know, it's got like 2 boxes, so tons of cardboard and stuff to get rid of. I've already put gas in it. I've put engine oil in it, you know, and it's just, it's frustrating. So I don't know if I'm actually going to replace it or if I'm just going to return it, because I don't want to have to go through all that again and not have a good generator. So this only has a 90-day warranty, and I've only had it for a couple days, so I'm well within that 90 days to take it back. But that's kind of a strong argument why maybe you should buy the extended warranty if you do buy this generator. The reason I didn't get the extended warranty, because when they showed me the price on it, I was blown away. I was like, good Lord, that's like a third of the price of the generator for the warranty. So I thought, you know, I'd take care of it and I only use it a few times a year, so maybe it wouldn't have any issues. But it looks like it has an issue right out of the box, and apparently I'm not the only one that's happened to. So maybe it does take 2 or 3 generators, but they say once you get a good one, you've got a great generator. Now this generator also has the capability of running in parallel with another 9,500 watt generator. However, Harbor Freight does not have that parallel kit available yet. It looks like there's some other people modifying some other over-the-counter 50 amp parallel kits, and it is possible, but Harbor Freight does not show their option as of yet. I just checked this morning right after, you know, the Black Friday. So it can be done, but it doesn't look like there's one out there. So, you know, I was really impressed at how quick and easy this thing started up and how quiet it actually is. I know people say, oh, it's quiet, it's really quiet, it's quiet, this many decibels. You know, when you tell me 67 decibels or whatever the case, that, you know, that doesn't mean a lot to me. I kind of have to hear it, and I was impressed at how quiet it is, especially with the electronic speed controller turned on at low idle. I mean, it is very quiet, so very impressed with that. But at this point, I'm not sure with the other generators on the market if this is something I could recommend, being that it comes out of the box broken. You know, it doesn't. But before I take it back, I am gonna call and check with them. But I went through every combination. I checked the manual. I mean, I cannot get that stuff to work. So, yeah, that is frustrating. But otherwise, it seems to be an excellent generator. I wish that stuff worked because I was really excited to run this for many years to come. So let me know what your experience has been with these Harbor Freight generators. This is my first one, and it looks like, you know, the smaller ones have had really good reviews. There's not a lot of these sold because it is a higher price item. It's a bigger generator, more of a smaller market for it, but most of the reviews have been good. I just got a bad one. Thanks for watching.